Hey there. So, Orby report for today. Um, I spent the evening last night staging stealth bombers out at Turnback ITC. I lost Hound 1, but I managed to get a Hound 3 fully fitted. And I found one of the old ones that, like, I had from the old tuna days that has a pretty good nano core on it. Not leveled at all, but slow going. It's all about the journey. And I got that staged at Ginger Coast, ready to go to Turnback. Hex Rex first, then Turnback. That Hound 1 that got scrapped, I think got launched. Yeah, the Hound 1 got launched all the way to Turnback because that's my current timeout place. And I think I've got the 3 staged at Ezreal Point, Ezreal Warzone. So I'm going to start peeling shields off of stations and just being a menace. I'm a little tired of folks blocking that pipe. I wanna start moving things out instead of just, trying to move the goods in. I want to get like the back and forth traffic. Tooled around Orion's for a bit. Got a couple loads of ventures produced. And I ran an analysis of like what all actually goes into a ship, and like for the venture line at least, I don't know about others, but it seems to be 70% tritanium, and then a much lesser, like I'm talking like 15%-ish less for pyrite. So the bulk, like the most useful mineral out there is trit, but folks kind of treat it like trash because there's nobody really mass producing, which makes it a lot more valuable than people claim it to be on the market if you've got the blueprints and the rest of the restrictive materials, the planetary resources, the higher order minerals, Zydrine especially. Like those are the limiting factors, which was encouraging. So I spent the day down at Cake Island farming condensed Scordite out of a C1 space. Now, C1 spaces are, I think, frigate only. Like, they're the safest spaces available. And Veldspar and Scordite are both the most mineral-rich rocks out there. Even though it's the most common mineral, they're the best bang for your buck for a specific mineral. They're not the best bang for your buck for ISK. Again, that's hemorphite or anything rich in Zydrine. Crocite comes close, but Crocite's too fluffy. But Scordite is what I'm going to continue to stockpile and save, because, like, if I ever need an infusion of ISK, I can just flip the trit. And, like, I will always need tritanium for manufacture. And it's good, cheap ore that I can throw into the delivery system and have pop up wherever I need, or, instantly sell. And it's drastically undervalued, so I don't mind like having a standing buy order. And again, nobody's using condensed spaces, so like the seemingly least valuable of the condensed spaces is just free farm. I got 8 loads out of Forest, my favorite Venture 3. Forest pulled 8 loads to the grain silo just off Cake Island. And that's, let's see, was it 60,000 each, 0.48 mil. About a half mil condensed Scordite, which 10 times that. 500 million equivalent. Not bad. Especially since each produces Yeah. Now I'm starting to rabbit hole into the math, and I'm like, I'm really proud of how much I was able to pull today. I don't have a Venture 4 yet. I've got a couple blueprints for those out at Turnback ITC, and I should have the planetary materials needed to produce one of those before the week is out. But yeah, a lot of industry fun. Oh, also, I've been looking at stabber 2s and stabbers, specifically stabbers for line operations, because those are really useful, really flexible. I like the stabber fleet issue as the Zendaya Explorer, and I've got a second one of those posted up, ready to rock. But like base stabber, I want to start harassing stations in those, testing the waters with a stabber. Because if I can survive in a cruiser, then I can easily survive in a stealth bomber. And the Hound 3, like, that's the fancy good stuff. I want to start preparing the battlefield with stabbers, and then using ninjutsu to... because you can't use ninjutsu and what's it called? Not Sino. Entosis to steal stations. You can't use ninjutsu to steal stations because you can't warp, but you can totally use it to kill them. And there's a few corporations and alliances and folks out in nullsec that are sleeping on how vulnerable their bases are. So my goal is to strip a series of shields, just strip shields, and then go through and like test armor immediately after. I want to get like a good rotation going. I'll be happy if I can do this with 2 or 3 within the same corp, because the goal is to fork. If you can produce a fork and force them to defend multiple locations and pick the time and place of battle, even an individual can take on far superior forces, especially when they're expecting stand-up fights. Everybody's postured as if capitals are the be-all end-all, but there's a reason why we don't use battleships in the Navy, why smart navies don't use battleships. They're cost inefficient. They're combat effective if you can get a stand-up fight, but nobody gives a stand-up fight anymore. It's stupid. It's like Civil War strategies where you line them up and mow them down. It's just nope. And military strategists go in cycles, like trench warfare comes into vogue just before technological advances make it obsolete once more. Drones have done that in the modern era, and frigates can do that in EVE, Echoes specifically. In EVE Online, they're a lot more aware of the value of a frigate or a destroyer. EVE Echoes not so much, because the attention isn't on destroyers especially, or battle cruisers. They don't have faction ships pulling all the whales their way. So I'm making bank, like not necessarily making ISK bank, but so much wealth, so much tritanium. Oh, I should have just done a regional delivery. I just realized that I missed that. Regional delivery is so good, such good value. Like, for maybe 20,000 ISK, you can move several hundred million worth. Cake Island is gonna be a hotbed of production here down the line. Once I get a stream of planetary materials into it, I'll probably have standing orders. I'll put standing buy orders and then turn that into my purchasing manufacturing location. Turnback ITC, I'm hoping, is going to be my retriever manufacturer, with Orion's belts being the main body. Like, I just produced a whole bunch of blueprints out of Orion's today. Mostly stabbers and stabber line. I experimented with anytime you run a blueprint, you manufacture a blueprint, the data that goes into it is a sunk cost. But you can gamble with the wreckage, especially if you have, if you're self-sourcing and the wreckage was free. Like, it's a nice little buzz getting 3 out of 4 on a 25% per. I got that earlier today. That was cool. I liked that. And I did the same roll and got less. I think I only got 1 out of the 4, but I figure that shakes out. That balances. I'm pretty happy with that mini game, even though like on the surface it's very like, well, you want to use as many wrecks as possible. Not necessarily, because I can sell those at cost for the data, which since I source it myself, like I pick the price for the data that I source. I tend to buy Minmatar data more than anything else. I've got stockpiles of everything else saved up from exploration, but I love mini ships to the point that I keep exhausting myself and losing ISK on that trade. I need to slow down and take my time, but like I want to corner the market on mammoths. I want to own the mammoth market because it's the queen of the last mile. Like any sort of mining operation can reliably use the mammoth for gathering planetary materials or gathering rocks, can mining, picking up cans, whatever. So that was today. A lot of good writing too. I finally got through the editing on Dead Saint Song, and I'm moving forward with the next section. I'm happy with where that is. Kicked around the idea of getting into East of Aries and starting to draft up an outline for the rules there, but I need to focus on Dead Saint Songs and just keeping the ball rolling on what'll eventually be the next Eve Echoes book, probably talking about Omega life and feeding Orion's belts from Hex Rex and Turnback ITC and Dizzy's maybe eventually, but I really don't like Dizzy's ITC. It's just close enough to Hex Rex to feel safe, but just far enough and with just enough corporate action going down to not be safe. It's been a good day. How are you? How have you been, stranger? Oh, next. I should be planning my next move. I think I'm gonna start. No, I need ISK. I actually need liquidity, so I am going to use one of the mission, that mission item. I found an old hurricane, Fimbulvinter, off of Kenora. I never named that. That was before I started naming bases or stations. But off of Kenora, a station out there, where I found my second Hound 3. So I got those both staged. I'm going to use that hurricane to treat myself to a little PvE tonight. Yeah. I might lose it. That's okay. I've got other resources I can tap for ISK. Like, this should be a nice, quiet, long-ranged fight. I hope. With something in the background, because maybe I'll listen to a book while I do that. I don't know. I love audiobooks. And I think down the line, one of the next projects that I need to tackle is making an audiobook version of Tilt. I think at the same time, like, I can go through and edit and clean it up and make it pretty, but it'd be nice to surprise myself with some of the old words, the things that I wrote back when I was, still in Big Blue. Doing the Air Force thing. That'll be good. I think that'll be good. I'll do the audiobook at some point. I don't know what I'll use for that. If I record it on the phone, like, I know I'm asking without expecting a response, and please forgive the rhetorical question. But can I do that? Can I record an audiobook on the phone? Like when I ask how you're doing, stranger, I mean that. Hopefully you're able to comment or like whatever. Send vibes. I don't know. I'll have to look into that. Go slow to go fast. I need to focus fire on one project on a time and enjoy the moments that I spend just cooking. Just making things happen. So, thanks for chilling with me. I hope you have a good day. Bye.